You see, most of us spend our lives searching for meaning, as though it were a coin we lost somewhere between childhood and the chaos of growing up. We rummage through the world, turning over stones of religion, science, ambition, love, and suffering, hoping somewhere in all that noise to hear the faint clink of truth. But here's the strange thing. The more desperately you look for meaning, the more it hides. It's as if life is playing a divine game of hide and seek with itself, and you are both the seeker and the one who hides. You ask, "Why am I here?" And life replies not with an answer, but with a sunrise. You ask again, "What's the point of all this?" And the wind blows through the trees, indifferent, yet alive. You see, life never gives you explanations, only experiences. And the meaning of life is not something you find about life. It's what happens when you stop standing outside of it, trying to make sense of it, and instead fall into it completely.
We are taught from the very beginning that life is a problem to be solved, a puzzle whose pieces must be fit together to reveal the grand picture. But life is not a riddle, it's a song. And the purpose of a song isn't to get to the final note as quickly as possible. The point is to dance, to play, to move through the melody as it unfolds. Yet here we are, rushing through our own lives as though the finale held the secret we missed. We try to understand life the way one might try to understand a river by putting it in a bottle. But the moment you confine it, the moment you define it, it ceases to flow. To seek meaning is to treat life as an object, a thing that stands apart from you, waiting to be decoded. But you are life. You are the mystery looking at itself through a million eyes. And so, the moment you stop trying to make sense of it, you begin to feel it. That's when life becomes meaningful. It's a curious habit, this human need to justify existence. We want our joys to have reasons, our sorrows to have lessons, and our love to have logic. But the flower does not bloom for a reason. It does not measure its worth in the fragrance it gives or the eyes that admire it. It simply blooms because blooming is its way of being alive. And perhaps when you are no longer asking what your life means, you begin to live as the flower does, not as a purpose to be fulfilled, but as a process to be expressed. You see, meaning is not something you seek. It's something that seeps out of you when you stop clutching at life like a frightened child and start trusting it like an old friend. It comes not from the outside in, but from the inside out.
Consider the ocean. You stand before it, watching the waves rise and fall, endlessly forming and dissolving. Do you ask, what's the purpose of these waves? No, because their beauty lies in their movement, not their destination. Each crest and crash is its own perfection, and so are you. When you stop seeking meaning, you discover that you are meaning itself, because you are life, and life does not need a reason to exist. It simply does.
Now, the trouble begins when we start imagining that life is supposed to add up. We want it to be tidy, coherent, a story with a clear moral and a satisfying ending. But life, in all its wildness, refuses to be reduced to a moral lesson. It's not a sermon, it's a symphony. And the symphony does not explain itself. It moves you. We've been conditioned to think that understanding will give us peace, yet often it's quite the opposite. The more we chase meaning, the more anxious we become, because meaning implies something outside of this moment, something more than what is. But there isn't more. This breath, this heartbeat, this passing thought is it. The rest is an echo of imagination. When you realize that, you stop trying to make sense of the waves and you start to surf them. There's an ancient rhythm to existence, a pulse that beats through every living thing. It doesn't ask for permission to be. It doesn't demand purpose. It just is. And when you let yourself move with that rhythm, when you allow yourself to be without explanation, life ceases to be a riddle and becomes a dance. That's what happens when you stop seeking meaning. The dance reveals itself. You see, the mind is forever measuring, comparing this moment to the next, this feeling to the last, this life to the one it imagines it should have had. And in all that measuring, it misses the immeasurable. It's as if you were trying to measure the fragrance of a rose with a ruler. The more you measure, the less you smell. Meaning, in the deepest sense, cannot be sought. It can only be sensed. It arises when the seeker dissolves into the experience itself. Think of a lover so lost in their beloved that they forget where one ends and the other begins. That too is what happens when you stop seeking meaning. The boundary between you and life disappears. But our culture loves seekers. We celebrate them. The people who are searching for answers, who are finding themselves. Yet you can never find yourself because you are not lost. You can only lose the illusion that you were ever separate from the whole. And when that illusion drops away, meaning floods in, not as a definition, but as a feeling. A quiet recognition that the universe is perfectly fine, just as it is. And so are you. So the paradox is this. The moment you stop demanding meaning from life is the moment life becomes deeply meaningful. Because in giving up the chase, you make space. In letting go of the question, you allow the answer to live through you, wordlessly, effortlessly. Meaning is not found at the end of the path. Meaning is the path. When you stop walking to arrive and simply walk. When you stop seeking, you awaken to the simple miracle that there is nothing missing. That this fleeting, shimmering, ever-changing experience is what you were looking for all along. The universe is not a problem to solve. It's a poem to experience. And the meaning of a poem is not hidden between its lines. It is the music of the words themselves. Life is exactly the same. You are not here to understand it. You are here to feel it, to breathe it, to be it. To be continued.